I can't believe I'm saying this. We have IndyCar lost media in the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome back to Motorsport 101. Hello, everybody. We're patching together the remains of leftover footage to make this episode happen. Welcome to episode 572 of Motorsport 101. We are coming to you live via helicopter shot. It's the only camera we've got here, and we're apparently still going to record a podcast because IndyCar had its second round of the year at the Thermal Club, and we're going to talk about it. We didn't even bother doing this last year because we were just so, at the $1 million challenge, you were like, we're not even bothering. But no, for you, the Motorsport 101 audience, in this trying time of a weekend, we're going to supply you with even more podcast content. Look at how much fun you're having. Isn't that right, Ryan Erik King, who's still here from the F1 episode?
I can't believe it. In 2025, we had Pablo Torre find the radio broadcast of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, and IndyCar has lost a significant portion of our race.
I didn't even know Pablo pulled that off. That's incredible. Oh damn. So now we know the 100-point game definitely happened. Definitely. That is a thing. Wow. But we can't get 10 laps in the middle of an IndyCar race in the middle of the Thermal Club in California. Cam, I'm sure you loved this occasion, didn't you?
Love is not the correct word.
Another one? Take your time.
Beep. Yeah, that's my summary of it. But I think we can celebrate this momentous occasion because we, as a podcast, have gotten more viewers than this IndyCar race. Because if you have seen the viewership ratings for this event, well, quite literally, it's not great, Bob. Bob, in this case, being Bob Pockrass, on location.
Still weird seeing Bob Pockrass in an IndyCar paddock being not quite as good as his job as he's brilliantly is for NASCAR most weekends.
We'll get there.
He'll get there. I'm sure he won't get Marcus Ericsson and Carl Kirkwood confused next week. It's progress.
The trick is that he needs to get in between Devlin and Scotty the next time they have a fist fight so he can have his next profile picture.
Ah, yes, of course. We've got to update that shit occasionally every once in a while. God bless Bob. We love Bob. We're talking a little bit more about that later on because it's almost a fight club. It's so close. It's so
a screen club.
Yeah, it's a
swear
club. A swear club. It's Scrappy Doo. Essentially is what Devin and DeFrancesco was on that occasion, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll talk about the race itself as Alex Palou later beaten, for lack of a better term, absolute onslaught in the end of that race, to go from third to first and winning it all. And yeah, if this is the last Grand Prix at the Thermal Club, Alex Palou could say he left here undefeated. It's like Sebastian Vettel in India. It's great. He's like, never lost.
Vetteldrome.
The Vetteldrome. Undefeated, never lost. It's like LeVar Ball. God bless him. But we'll talk about that. McLaren's strategy, the battle for the win there. Penske having one of its jankiest weekends I can ever remember from Team Penske. All over the place. Will Power desperately trying to save what was left of their reputation by the end of that race. And Scott McLaughlin's horrible, terrible, no good weekend on and off the track. And hey, whether IndyCar's even going to come back here at all, and when I'm burying the lead again here, we're going to talk about Fox because it
ain't great.
It's not been good so far. Not been good, and we'll talk about that over the next 30, 40 minutes or so. But in the meantime, there's some places you can find us. We're on youtube.com for full episodes of the podcast over there, youtube.com/motorsport101, and the occasional short as well, facebook.com/motorsport101. We are on Twitter at motorsport_101, and our personal handles on Blue Sky. For the follow us there are Dre Harrison, Ryan Erik King, and cbuckley917.bsky.social. You can probably find us just by searching our names, most likely. We're on Instagram as well, Motorsport101 Pod, including highlights of the show from there, and all updates on our content, and some occasional video shorts from me as well about all things motorsport, mostly Formula One so far, and all of that good stuff as well. If you really like us, you can back us financially on Patreon, patreon.com/motorsport101. $5 gets you early access to all of our shows. You can upgrade to the $10 tier to listen to these episodes live as they're being recorded, as Kira is doing right now, and everybody else in the chat. Thank you very much for listening in. Right, let's talk about IndyCar's 2025 Grand Prix at the Thermal Club. Never thought I'd say that on this show. Well, Cams, your man was Himothy again. Despite an early big lead from Pato O'Ward using a set of sticker reds off the launch to lead by 8 seconds at the first round of stops, it was Palou who came back from third to first in a destructive final stint. McLaren had no choice but to use a second pair of sticker black tyres for their last stint, with Palou saving his ace in the hole at the end, a brand new set of sticker reds, and he was going over 2 seconds a lap faster by the end of the race. He caught Pato O'Ward, passed him with a dozen laps left, and then won by 10 seconds by the time the race was over. Pato was second, and his McLaren teammate, Christian Lundgaard, on the podium in third, his first in orange, and I'm saying orange, it's not papaya. Get it right. In orange in third for them. And Cam, please resist the glaze. I know it's tempting. I know it's hard for you with a signed Alex Palou diecast 10 feet from you. But what did you make of Palou's win? I'm going to you first. King, get the umbrella for the glaze.
Choked him out with a set of Firestone Reds. Last thing he saw was the price tag on them. Yeah, it's very funny. Motorsport 101 IndyCar Championship picks.
For God's sake. You motherfucker.
I'm feeling real good about my life right now. It was just vintage Palou. He offset his strategy, gave himself some clean air, and then just ground this field into a fine paste. He went around the McLarens like they were on flat tires.
To be fair,
and Christian Lundgaard tried his day. He tried to kill him in the process, and he just couldn't do it.
He tried. Christian Lundgaard understood the assignment. It was like, can I subtly take this man out? In a desperate attempt to make sure he doesn't pass me. Defend Pato for the win at all costs. Gotta defend all those fangirls who talk about the IndyCar on Fox ads and then love them so. I mean, King, what was that like for you at the end watching that in real time? Because it was pretty destructive.
I mean, there was no stopping him. It was a force of nature.
Watching it.
What? The scarier part of this is not that he caught Pato. It's not that he passed Pato. It's that he then gapped Pato for the rest of that stint by a bigger gap than what he had to close in the first place. He over-doubled the assignment. He overcompensated.
2 rounds in a row, we've had Palou put off a significant pass on Stingray Robb en route to the victory.
That is not how that sentence should go, but it's subjectively true.
I'm just stating facts. I mean, by the time Fox got a timing tower working again, you could literally see the tenths of a second drop off that gap per corner. It was terrifying watching that in real time. The rate of knots that Palou was taking out of that gap. McLaren was just way too conservative. They had to use a second pair of black tyres, and they burned too many in qualifying. And Pato just had no pace at the end of that race, which is amazing given that was the most rubber they had down on the track in that final stint. If they were going to do it, that was the time to do it. Big mistake.
Well, the thing is, Trey, the X factor with Palou, the thing that seems to be completely impossible to counter, he had those reds at the end, but his stint on the scrub tires, he was just as fast as everyone else on brand new.
It's the second race in a row where a scrubbed set of tyres is a critical stint for Palou en route to the win because he's a tyre whisperer. He is as quick on scuffed tyres than other elite drivers are on brand new sets, and that's what worked out for him. It was keeping the gap at a manageable rate when he was on a scrubbed set of softs and then a set of the primary tyre, and then when he was able to unleash the cork on that final stint on sticker reds, he was. How do you beat Pato O'Ward in a single stint by 19 seconds? What?
It's like you have to watch it, and thanks to Fox, so we can't watch all of it to believe it. Where, again, as you said, the gap just melted. It was melting in real time as we were getting timing updates. And, I mean, we talked about Chris's article on Front Stretch last year, where how do you beat Alex Palou and that consistency to a championship? You don't. Well, he's perfect thus far on the year. So when the floor is first, it's a little bit difficult. I mean, is anyone going to outscore him by 39 points for the remainder of the year?
That's the terrifying thing. When I wrote my haters guide for IndyCar this year, I wrote it in the sense of the top tier of IndyCar has not looked this stacked in a while, because you could throw in, I said you could throw in 7 names that could reasonably win the title, and I wouldn't laugh you out of the room. Palou, Dixon, all of the Penske's, Power, Newgarden, and McLaughlin. I'd probably throw in Pato O'Ward on top of that as well, because Pato has been in title deciders before. He has been competitive at the very highest level in the field. That's 6 drivers right there. And hey, I even said in the article that King's beloved Kyle Kirkwood, I thought, had an outside shot at it too. I think he was going in that direction to potentially be a contender this year. Palou's got a 39-point gap after 2 races. Way to go, guys! Everybody is tripped over each other to the point, King, now where it's like Palou is... in the UK, he's literally odds-on favourite. He's like 8-15 to win the title after 2 rounds. What are we doing here, King? What are we doing?
We're simply living in Alex Palou's world. We are background characters in Alex Palou's Hollywood movie.
We are on track for an incredible win everything but the 500 and break my heart season.
Who's getting the blowtorch from Cam this year? It was Reader's VK a couple of years ago.
Still Reader's VK.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at him. It's like 2 completely different tracks, 2 completely different assignments. Palou torches the field in both.
He was sick this weekend as well, by the way. He was not 100%.
Given the recent record, I mean, if he... Look, give that man emergency appendix surgery before the Indy 500, and I am feeling real good about my chances.
Who would Chip Ganassi put in as a reserve if he had to have an emergency appendix removal? Well, because we've seen this in F1 before. The stand-in normally comes in and does very well. Who are we calling?
Oh, man, it's just...
Bring back Linus Lundqvist. Who says no?
Do you think either of those 2 still have each other's phone numbers at this point?
Fuck no.
Definitely deleting that contact. Yeah, it's so great that you have to watch it to believe it, and on a weekend where his direct championship rivals from the opening round again just completely faltered. He remains the guy with the highest floor, and at the same time ceiling in IndyCar right now.
It's just... I don't know how you beat this man over the course of a season. Like, he's getting better.
Get him into more legal trouble. Worked in 22.
Like, okay, keep him in the IndyCar canteen and make him choose between chicken or waffles, and they'll be sat there for 3 hours, and that's how you beat him, because he'll miss the race. Because we all know the man's a bit indecisive. Any better ideas, King? I ain't got none.
Stack the chicken on the waffles and send it.
And I don't know, the whole legal trouble thing could backfire. Last IndyCar driver that happened to ended up winning 4 500s.
And he's back again this year for a go at age 50. God bless Helio. What a guy. I mean, yeah, it's Christian Lundgaard is such a good IndyCar driver, and I've waxed lyrical about Christian on this show for a good year and a half. He got blown out by 20 seconds in this race, and he had a clear run from the start.
He tried to drive through Alex a couple times, like, I see you defending. I simply do not have this problem, and then drove around him.
Yeah, and I love me some Lundgaard. I think McLaren still might not be good enough for him. That's the terrifying thing. I mean, I just looked at the IndyCar website right now, and the front page is a picture of Palou screaming, and it says, "Inside line, how many races will Palou win this year?" We're already having this conversation.
Yeah, that's when that becomes a question, it's locked up.
It's the Marc Marquez argument. Like perfection comes from Spain right now. Those damn Spaniards.
The damn Spaniard. It applies is seemingly in every series but Formula One these days. Thankfully. Well, also say I like to actually give your boy some flowers. Christian Lundgaard just probably had the best non-Pato weekend for a McLaren since Rossi at the 500 last year.
It's a very good point. Like, I hope it's a sign, because he was pretty good at St. Petersburg in week one as well, where he was the best of the McLarens. Yes, he didn't have the troubles that Pato O'Ward had, but Lundgaard had a good, clean race and finished in the top 10, which is what you kind of want him to get every week. And this weekend, qualified front row, finished third. No one's complaining about that. McLaren need backup. That's what they need. They need some depth in their roster.
They need a lot of backup now.
Well, the good news is Pato O'Ward is now second in the standings. The bad news is he's 39 points off Alex already. Yeah,
it's not great.
The good news is Lundgaard's only 3 points behind Pato, though, which is also good. It's like Lundgaard is fourth in the standings now. Like he's one of like 2 or 3 dudes that have had 2 pretty good weekends. Dixon's probably the other one, who's third right now on 61 points. And Dixon was very quiet this weekend.
Yeah, Dixon had just classic Dixon. Oh, he got a pretty good result out of being completely anonymous.
Just there, and he somehow cracked the top 10 because that's Scott Dixon. He just does things like that. Don't say a word about him all weekend. Oh, he's 10th. Cool. See you next week, etc. Now, we've talked around this long enough. I mean, for those who maybe don't follow IndyCar as strongly, I know I've got messages and people saying, I've got into IndyCar because of you guys, which is really cool to hear about. For those who missed this, the entire production truck at Fox lost power in the middle of this race, meaning we had static on the main feed for a good, I think it was about 15 minutes or so, King?
Yep, 15 minutes. So, like, it ended up being about a little over 10 laps.
Something like that. It was about 9-10 laps. And this was doubly awful because they actually missed the second round of pit stops as a result of this blackout that they had on their main feed. We were personally in Discord, we may or may not like to indulge in sharing the load of watching these races, and it was quite a scene having to watch an IndyCar race via live timing and control, one thing, and then Fox giving bonus coverage of NASCAR in the middle of the blackout, their direct competitor.
Bonus coverage.
Bonus coverage of NASCAR. Your direct competitor. Well, it's not like anything else important in sporting was going, it's March Madness.
It's why we alluded to and joked about at the top of the show that the actual broadcast did 700,000 viewers. Now, IndyCar and Fox were very quick to brag about the fact that their opener in St. Pete pulled in, I think it was 1.4, and that was their best opener in 14 years. Half of them stuck around for week 2. 700K. You lost half your audience in one race. They didn't come back. Not good.
Not good at all. No. And it feels like a lot of goodwill was squandered because a lot of people had their hopes up for IndyCar and Fox because Fox simply invested money in advertising. But that clearly didn't show in the end product, the broadcast we were getting. And a lot of people were complaining that, why are we so up in arms after only one mistake. It was not just one mistake. The opening round in St. Petersburg, there were issues with the graphics then. And it compounds to what happened this weekend, which Fox tried to wipe their hands of, because when the broadcast did come back, Will Buxton mistakenly said that the entire track lost power. No, because if that was the case, they would have stopped the race.
Yeah, I heard a red flag though immediately if there was the whole track was out.
They only lost power to the production truck, meaning that they couldn't actually do the broadcast or it also impacted the radio broadcast to some extent. And partially this is Fox's problem, partially this is IndyCar's problem, because when you race at a private facility that doesn't regularly host events like this, they don't have the media and broadcast facilities and redundancies on hand for large internationally broadcasted events.
Nope. And like you said, Kick, if this was if Fox had 1.5 very good broadcasts to this point and we were praising them, we'd probably give them a pass for this, because this can happen to anybody. It happens, sometimes freak incidents happen, sometimes
it happened for Formula One, right?
Yeah,
it happened for Formula One at Bahrain, and all the garages lost power.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. Anyone else here seen HBO's Chernobyl series?
I haven't, but I don't know where this is going, so please fill me in.
This was a humiliating moment for a series that is obsessed with not being humiliated.
Yes.
If you want to be considered with the big ball, we're just as quality as Formula One. We're just as quality as NASCAR. Well, you ran your race here, and we only saw part of it because your facilities broke down. It's not a good look.
The one thing that has been in the back of my mind that I haven't seen anyone else said during this whole ordeal from the announcement of the broadcast contract was that, in today's media landscape, we've talked about it for years. Live sports is king. It's the only thing that's not really bleeding viewership at the moment. No. As a result, all the leagues want more and more money for broadcast rights.
Mm-hmm. Line go up.
In a way for Fox, in a way that IndyCar would likely not want to admit, they're the cheap date. Like, there's no way their rights cost nearly as much as NASCAR.
They are cool.
Formula One.
They are cool going out for the 6-piece McNugget and some fries. And that's a date.
Yeah.
You can have a very nice time on that date.
I'm sure you could.
But it's a cheap date.
And like you said, 6-piece and fries, that's how much Fox is investing in this.
Yeah.
It feels like most of the marketing budget went into those 3 commercials and everything else gets the pennies. And it's cutting into a dish and realizing the presentation was a lie.
Yep.
Yeah, you found out the couch was a cake. That's what's happened here. It's the Johnny Knoxville prank.
You found out they did the beef Wellington well done.
Oh, but I mean, look, for me, Fox has been sloppy from day one, and it's the TV ads to start the season were genuinely, for the most part, very good. I had a bit of an issue with, I mentioned before about Pato O'Ward's fangirls being called groupies. Probably one too far on the advert for that. You could easily take offense to that, which I thought was a bit much. But generally, they went over well. They were fun. They were well, and that earned a lot of goodwill, as King alluded to. The fans generally loved it. And some of NASCAR's fans were jealous about the amount of hype that IndyCar was getting as this new product on the scene for Fox. And we got to St. Pete, and St. Pete was riddled with problems. The broadcast was sloppy. The international viewership, which I was watching with because I'm a Sky Sports customer, I was watching it perfectly legally in the UK. Don't laugh. I know what you're getting at, King. But like the international broadcast in the UK had a different timing tower and it wasn't working properly. It was going to 2 decimal places rather than 3 for no good reason. There's 0 good reason to have that differently than the US, right? And it was sloppy. I didn't have a big problem with the cartoon portraits, but a lot of people did. Whatever. It was sloppy, and the broadcast itself was sloppy. Will Buxton had a good delivery, but he was very bad at telling the story of the race. Push to pass was completely ignored over the course of the Grand Prix. They were tripping over each other at times.
Still not even on the graphics tray. Push to pass in the hybrid setup. Like, we're missing basic information that we had under the old graphics system.
Yeah. It's a step backwards. It's been 2 steps backwards, and Fox have got no excuse, given that they've had NASCAR coverage for donkey's years. This is not like this is the first time they've ever had a motorsport broadcast before.
Well, the problem is that a lot of these same complaints and the lack of energy and lack of storytelling in the booth is exactly what NASCAR fans like myself have been screaming about for years, when Mike Joy is just there. He's not really at his best anymore. Clint Boyer is saying the most insane nonsense you've ever heard, and
whatever the hell he wants.
and Harvick, I think, is really good technically, but I don't think he's got his timing down. Which, I mean, he's relatively new to this, so I can give him a pass.
Sure, I like Harvick in the booth.
You can transplant 90% of the problems with the NASCAR on Fox broadcast, and you get them in the IndyCar one. Only IndyCar is not as big as NASCAR. IndyCar does not have the critical mass that NASCAR does. You are a new broadcaster. You had a chance to right a lot of the wrongs, and you just ported them over. Ignoring the fact that the broadcast wasn't even there for 10 laps.
And they were giving it the big one on Instagram saying, hey, no leak this time. These are the new graphics we're going to show. And then half of them didn't work during the broadcast itself. We went in the first 6 laps without a timing tower.
Also, not only did half of them didn't show from the concepts that were quote unquote leaked, the concepts were actually different. The concepts were better.
It's just so. What happened? Were you just not able to implement them by the time the broadcast came along? Like, what happened here? It's off, and this is us largely being kind about the fact that we lost 10 laps of the broadcast to a production error. Like, we're trying to be kind on this one. It's not working. Like, I'm real with you. I want to bat for Buxton, and I know he's not been as prominent as a lead play-by-play commentator for a good few years now, because he's
also most of these issues aren't his fault.
No, and they're not his fault in all fairness, but he's struggling as well as a lead anchor. He's clashing with Hinchcliffe and Townsend Bell, who of course are going to be a bit more natural because they've been doing this together for years now. Townsend is just straight up lying to people when he's talking about how the IndyCar hybrid's been perfect so far, and then 3 shut down during this race. Like Townsend.
Tell that to Scott Dixon. Tell that to Scott Dixon. He would punch you right in the face. Like
it's just like, does Townsend Bell think we're stupid? Like, we watched last year.
It's the same stuff as again on the NASCAR broadcast of just saying dumb, incoherent stuff to play down to the lowest common denominator. And part of that is just glazing the series for something.
And we're doing it.
Actually pay attention to. The hybrids have not been reliable.
No. They've been all over the place. Like, and
they've been having to modify qualifying procedures in case cars couldn't get going from them last year.
And we're doing this at the Thermal Club, which feels more like a B2B marketing exercise than it does an IndyCar race. Last year, it wasn't as bad as last year when it was turbo glazing over what the Thermal Club could do, but it still felt more like a marketing event than an actual Grand Prix. It still feels Bush League watching a Thermal League event go down over the course of a weekend.
You are a series that is demanding to be taken seriously, and you're racing at a track like this. It's a glorified testing venue. It'd be
a great testing venue.
it's a club track. You want to watch like this track is for rich dudes in their
McLaren Sennas.
Yeah, in their flipped 4 times Porsche 911 GT3 RSs on the tires that they bought because they don't want to ruin the tires the car came with to go run laps slowly. It's not an IndyCar track.
Yeah, it'd be the equivalent to be like, what if the Los Angeles Dodgers, instead of opening their season at Dodger Stadium or even the Tokyo Dome, decided, hey, this actor is a big fan of ours. What if we played our season opener in their backyard?
We're taking the Dodgers to the IPL, King.
Oh my god, it's little league stuff. It's Bush League.
And what worries me is that going into this weekend, I thought, well, this is at least this is probably going to be the last time we're here, because I also announced this weekend that the Grand Prix of Arlington, their new addition to the calendar in Texas, is going to be on, I believe it's the weekend of March 18th to 21st, which is roughly where we're at now on the IndyCar calendar, where this Grand Prix was. So I thought, ooh, is Arlington going to be just a straight-up replacement for the Thermal Club? Nope.
No.
Racer.com reported a day later that they're in talks to bring this back next year and potentially change the layout. Faster track. Well, guys, they'll be hitting 180 down here. That'll fix things. Oh, shoot me. Look, it's rare that I host an episode of M101 with 2 co-hosts that are just looking so nonchalant and thinking about the Thermal Club right now.
I'm annoyed that we full disclosure, we weren't going to talk about this race. This was going to be the definition of a Keeping It 101, 10-minute segment for the F1 show. And then so much dumb BS happened. We had to extrapolate it out into a full show. I'm angry that we're still recording this.
Not too much longer, Cameron, I promise. But it's just a combination of the Thermal Club being what it is, in combination of Fox, who we want to back and we want to believe will bat for IndyCar, because ultimately we do this because we like the series at its heart and we want to bat for it. And Fox keeps putting our pants down. We're feeling secondhand embarrassment right now recording this podcast, because they should be doing so much better than what they've got right now. Our standards were too high going into this season, clearly.
IndyCar, it feels like I'm getting punched in the face constantly while they demand that I like their series. And I really want to like their series, but I don't like getting punched in the face over and over.
Don't worry, folks. We got Long Beach in 2.5 weeks' time. That'll be good, right?
Hang on, make it run the fast corners. Make it 4.2 miles. That'll keep Honda around.
Who was still talking about quitting, by the way. Dear, oh dear. Look, Cam. Can I at least cheer you up with a near Fight Club?
Depends on who's involved.
How about my pick for the IndyCar Series title, Scott McLaughlin?
Bing
every
bong.
day.
Bing bong, right? Scott's a funny character. He doesn't take himself too seriously on the interwebs.
Scott McLaughlin thinks while the Jays are raining fire and death from the 3-point line on the New York Knicks.
Return fire from the F1 podcast, I see. And on top of that, he got into it with Devlin DiFrancesco, King's favorite iRacing IndyCar driver.
Yeah, I don't have the big sides in this conflict. It's already...
Well, it wrote itself.
We know. The guy, do we really have to... Is anyone going to be picking the side of the guy with a Dogecoin Indy 500 car?
Ugh. We didn't mention that last week, but yes, Devlin DiFrancesco is going to have a Dogecoin-sponsored Indy 500 car. I can't
believe that guy's Canadian.
I just wish his car a very Tesla Cybertruck.
Oh dear! I mean, the reason.
The fun thing is, you don't know what that means. It could explode. A panel could come off. could just shut down on its own. There's all kinds of different defects that you can pick from with the Tesla Cybertruck.
It's fun. You just don't know which one's going to happen. It's roulette. It's part of the fun. No, but the reason why these two got into it after the race, and once again, Bob Pockrass was on the scene with video. What a boy. We love Bob for this reason. He's right in the heart of the action. Was in, I can't believe I'm saying this, Devlin DeFrancesco spun out Scott McLaughlin on the formation lap.
Isak Hajar, you no longer have the most embarrassing formation lap gaffe of the year.
Isak, you've earned a reprieve. You've been one-upped by Devlin DeFrancesco, who drove over the curb, hit McLaughlin on the outside of what is meant to be them going 2x2 towards the start line, and then they both spin out. McLaughlin's already way off the back, and then McLaughlin's hybrid fails, and he loses 6 laps. McLaughlin was stone dead last, had a terrible, horrible, no good day, and, well, let's put it to you this way. I'm going to quote this verbatim. The clip starts with him going to Devlin DeFrancesco's garage and saying, "You're so fucking stupid, you dumb cunt."
Extremely oceanic.
Oh, yeah. Spoken like a true Kiwi.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it kind of started from there, really, to be honest. Yeah, and then they are finger pointing. I love that as McLaughlin says, "You're so fucking..." Like Devlin says, "You're so effing lame." And McLaughlin starts giving him the Italian hand gestures, which...
To an Italian Canadian, nonetheless.
I don't know what this means.
It's funny as well because, like, Devlin, bless his heart, he's quite short, and McLaughlin is quite tall for an IndyCar driver. So it's like, visually speaking, it's like McLaughlin's literally talking down to him with the hand gesture pointing, saying, "You're so fucking stupid. You got a penalty for a reason." And he says it about 6 times to him.
It's a German Shepherd chastising a dachshund.
Don't talk to Devlin about dogs. Not his favorite. Not his favorite subject.
That angle.
Not his favorite subject matter. Now, the best part is that Devlin offers to run him the video of the incident, and his team is not interested. His team's like, "Devlin, just pack it in."
Because you know what his team wanted to say. They wanted to say the exact same thing. You got a penalty for a race.
It was in the... How can you defend...
Yeah,
how can you defend the indefensible?
Prime in 8K. Here you go.
Like, you can't...
What are you doing?
You can't defend the indefensible. Like, how do you spin someone out on a formation lap? Bruh! Please, God! Like,
Lord, give me strength. What are we going to do? This is who Devlin is.
Like, Devlin, like, no one was exactly rooting for you to be back in IndyCar. As long as you just kept your ass quiet and you didn't do anything offensive, we'd probably just turn a blind eye to your mediocrity. No, round 2 of your return, and you're spinning out one of the main title contenders of the series, who, by the way, was on the back row in the first place because Penske were dog shit this weekend. like, what happened to Team Penske? Like, Will Power salvaged some pride by going from 21st to 6th. Power drove his nuts off to get back into the top 6.
They rolled off the trucks and they were terrible. Pretty much from the first lap. Like, Power did salvage their weekend. Newgarden was nowhere.
13th.
McLaughlin was extra nowhere with his hybrid issue.
Yeah, just nowhere to be found. McLaughlin is now already 61 points behind Alex Palou in the standings because McLaughlin finished stone dead last at Thermal.
Yeah, good luck overturning that, buddy.
Yeah, Newgarden, trying to beat the road and street course allegations, ended up 13th, which is pretty much where he was on the road and street course most of last season. And Power, once again, salvaging some pride by finishing 6th. Penske, what the hell? Like, what are we doing here? And of course, it didn't help that Pato kind of threw them under the bus, saying we need more help from our Chevrolet-backed teams. And everyone's like, we're not here for this, Pato.
He's clearly talking about Ed Carpenter Racing, don't you know?
Of course. Well, who else could he possibly be talking about out there at the moment? Oh boy. And we're probably coming back here next year alongside Arlington.
Look, if you reconfigure the track, I will give you one practice session to convince me, and no more.
So the thing is, they're reconfiguring the track so it passes by more of the trackside properties. They're not doing it to get better racing.
Well, I mean, that's going to continue right up until the point where someone catches a front wing end plate into their lawn.
Look, honey, a souvenir. Yeah, look what happened when IndyCar came to town. I mean, yeah, it's not ideal here. We are talking about it's again, as King said, it feels again like a marketing move. Get more of the properties, get more club members on board. Look how pretty it is around here in this desert. Don't you want to be part of this life as part of this development plot? Come and yeah, you'll get an IndyCar race for free every year, alongside our 5,000 spectators. They have 5,000 people here for this race. It's like watching MotoGP in Qatar. You know what it's like? You get the one grandstand on the front straight, and that's it. That's what this was.
Hey, Qatar has a grandstand.
Right. And it gets 8,000 people in. It's good. It's something. I'm ending it here. We're already at 40 minutes. That's enough. That's enough. IndyCar is back in 2 weeks' time for the Grand Prix of Long Beach. It has to be better than this. And hey, maybe Alex Palou will win that one too. Just rub extra salt in this title fight before it's even got to the month of May. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But IndyCar Grand Prix of Long Beach in a couple of weeks' time. We'll be back for that. Then, as I mentioned, we've got MotoGP up next. Grand Prix of the Americas, Marc Marquez land, our bikes. It should be fun. Maybe we'll get a KTM in the top 6. Who knows, King? You know, can you keep a straight face?
Neither of you can keep a straight face. When you say our bikes, it's everyone's bikes here but King's.
Will we get the third Marquez Brothers 1-2 finish in a row? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe Pecco Bagnaia could salvage something in his pretty miserable title campaign so far. We'll talk about that then. Cool. So, until next time, I've been Dre Harrison, they've been Ryan Erik King and Cam Buckley, and until next time, thank you very much for listening. Sayonara.
Another championship prediction come to pass.
Please, someone save Kyle Kirkwood, please.